And my wife, when she was working before I met her, she was working, she had two different jobs. One, she was a maid, and she was making about $20 a week, working 7 hours a day, 7 days a week. And she did live with the people that she was working for. And then she worked at the mall, and she was making about $6 a day, working 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. And that was about average. So it's really low here. And I've talked about it before, that's one of the problems in the Philippines, and that they need to do something to raise the wages up considerably. But the question is does this poverty, is it a benefit to people like me that come here, to the foreigners who come to the Philippines, decide to retire here? When you come over here, you immediately increase your immediately. It happens as soon as you get off the plane.
Mark Thornton, from the channel Every Man Has a Story, has claims of traveling all over the world but has only actually lived in the United States aside from the Philippines. So he is a seasoned traveler who has experienced the world from behind closed doors, on TV, and in the mainstream media. He has no experience as someone who has actually lived through different walks of life and or viewed life from various social and economic classes from a first-hand perspective. He doesn't know how to analyze and navigate life here in the Philippines. Mark is the eternal optimist, the guy who views the Philippines as a cheap concierge service. It's as if Mark has never taken the time to share a drink and truly engage with a local, missing out on the nuances that shape their lives. Mark's own videos with no interviews, especially his live streams, are a trove of misinformation dredged from the shallows of the internet with all the depth of a single Google search. His lack of thorough research skills is quite evident and leaves his content adrift in a sea of inaccuracies and misconceptions. His commentary, though charmingly naive, barely scratches the surface, akin to a hastily assembled or last-minute school project. It resonates solely with his own shallow thoughts, lacking the depth that comes from genuine immersion of content and information. Consider his anecdote about his wife's earnings, a modest $20 a day. In a world where qualifications dictate wages, his failure to grasp this concept is truly absurd. While Filipinos are undeniably resourceful, they also value education and meritocracy just like any other modern-day country and society. Mark's oversight of this fundamental aspect reflects his superficial understanding of the world. If everyone could attain employment and a decent wage without formal education, the very fabric of this or any nation would deteriorate over time. For someone who presents himself as a savvy retiree in the Philippines, fundamental facts should be second nature, which is something that Mark lacks. As visitors on foreign soil, expats have no claim to critique a nation's governance outside of certain boundaries related to their stay here. It's akin to stepping into someone's home and presuming to rearrange their furniture. Mark wants wages to be increased as if all that's required is a magic wand. Is he aware of the current situations regarding minimum wage in the Philippines? If only solutions were as simple as a stroke of a pen, the Philippines would have turned the page on its challenges long ago. Mark persists in presenting subjective claims as verified facts, weaving perspectives that often stray far from the realm of practicality. Take, for instance, his grandiose idea of purchasing a cruise ship through crowdfunding from esteemed investors. One can't help but wonder about Mark's credentials for such a venture. Does he possess the necessary collateral and expertise to attract investors of high caliber? Scrutinizing Mark's background raises questions about his educational foundation. Without a formal education, he appears to rely on guile and opportunism to navigate life's challenges, much like his approach here in the Philippines. It begs the question, why would individuals of distinction invest in someone whose achievements pale in comparison to the endeavors of recent college graduates starting a new life? In a society built on collective values, where the principle of bayanihan reigns supreme, Mark's actions challenge the spirit of leaving no one behind. That's what family is about. The Philippines is a collective society that inspires to leave no one behind. Mark's propensity for wishful thinking seems to overshadow his grasp of reality, creating a narrative fueled by aspiration rather than pragmatism. He manipulated Paul Old Dog new tricks in helping him grow his channel. He manipulated his sister-in-law into a relationship. Mark is morphing into a glaring illustration of the leniency foreigners often exploit within the Philippine landscape. His presence seems to cultivate a toxic atmosphere, one that has driven away individuals he once considered friends, including the likes of Critter Hunter. The incident at Ground Zero, where he engaged in a physical altercation with another expatriate, paints a disturbing picture of his behavior. One can't help but ponder, when was the last time Mark and Paul Old Dog New Tricks shared their customary weekly coffee rendezvous? The silence speaks volumes on Mark's toxic behavior that is rubbing off on other expats in the Philippines. As visitors to a country, it is only right that we understand, embrace and immerse ourselves in their culture. If you want to live in America, go and live in America. Let not the shadow of another society dim the unique luminescence of this nation's heritage. As travelers, we embark on journeys to distant lands, seeking adventure, connection, and understanding. Each country, each community, carries within it a rich tapestry of traditions, beliefs, and customs, a cultural heritage that shapes its identity. When we step foot on foreign soil, we become temporary guests, privileged to witness the symphony of life that unfolds around us. We become participants in the grand dance of life, a dance that requires learning the steps, feeling the rhythm, and embracing the unfamiliar. As visitors to a country, it is only right that we understand, embrace, and immerse ourselves in their culture. Indeed, this call to understanding is both an obligation and an opportunity. To understand is to peel back the layers of history, to listen to the whispers of ancestors, and to appreciate the nuances that color a nation's existence. It is not merely about ticking off tourist attractions or sampling local cuisine, it is about empathy, curiosity, and respect.